Hello, good evening and welcome to Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, coming to you live from our studio here at Desanwe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Coming up tonight, as the race for the Ayawaso East parliamentary seat heats up, the wife of the late Member of Parliament has declared her intention to step into her husband's shoes. But the big question is, can she survive the NDC primaries? We have details of that for you. Meanwhile, the New Patriotic Party, the opposition party, says it will not organize any primaries but will contest in the by-election. We'll give you specific details in a moment. Later, the latest polls place Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia comfortably ahead of four other contenders in the NPP's presidential primary slated for the 31st of June, 31st of January 2026. Your Election Command Center will bring you an analysis of how all of this is expected to play out. And later, is global health under threat following the withdrawal of the United States funding from the World Health Organization? Tonight we ask, what does this mean for Ghana's health sector? These stories and more coming up shortly, including business and sports. Before that, let's get the news summaries with Noura Mohammed.
Thank you, Martin. Good evening. First, in the summaries, the Savannah Regional Police Intelligence Department has arrested 22 Togolese suspected of involvement in illegal mining activities within the West Gonja municipality of the Savannah region. The suspects were arrested on Friday, January 23, 2026, when a team of police officers intercepted a Kia truck with registration number BA22312. The vehicle was being driven by suspect Abdul Majid Yakubu. Meanwhile, the Accra Regional Police Command has arrested 3 suspects in connection with SIM box fraud activities within residential apartments at the Sakumono Ramsar site. All 3 suspects were arrested in separate apartments, and police say a search conducted at the apartments of the 3 suspects led to the retrieval of sophisticated electronic gadgets, SIM boxes, and several assorted SIM cards believed to have been used for the alleged fraudulent activities. Also, the Forestry Commission has hosted Mr. Michael Curcio, West Africa Program Specialist of the United States Forest Service, as part of a program support and monitoring mission to Ghana from January 19 to 23, 2026. The visit forms part of ongoing collaboration between the USFS and NFC to strengthen natural resource law enforcement and combat illegal timber trafficking in Ghana and the wider West African sub-region. Now, the Forestry Commission has hosted Ms. Caterina Vieira, a member of the European Parliament and standing rapporteur for trade relations with West Africa, as part of a working visit aimed at strengthening cooperation between Ghana and the European Union in the forestry sector. The visit formed part of efforts to deepen the European Parliament's understanding of Ghana's forestry sector, to gain insight into the key challenges confronting the sector, and explore how Ghana plans to harness the opportunities arising from the forest law enforcement, governance and trade licensing scheme with the EU. Now, twins identified as Atakofi and Ebiwom, both aged 28, have allegedly beaten a 33-year-old man, Theophilus Jemfi, popularly known as Kwesi KK, to death at Sweshi Boinzan in the Juabusu district of the Western North region. Confirming the incident to 3 News, the assemblyman for the Boinzan electoral area, Aha Kojo Vincent, said the deceased had gone to a river in the community to wash what was described as gold. That'll be all for the summaries. Over to you, Martin.
Thank you very much, Noura Mohammed. Let's get to the details of our stories now. We're starting from the expected by-election for the Ayawaso East Constituency. And the widow of the late Member of Parliament for Ayawaso East, Hajia Amina Adam, has formally declared her intention to contest the National Democratic Congress parliamentary primary, which was declared vacant following the demise of the MP for the area. In a press statement signed and issued on January 22, 2026, Hajia Amina Adam said she decided to present herself for the party's primary after consultations with community leaders, party members, and residents of the constituency. She said the decision followed weeks of reflection after the passing of her husband on January 4, 2026, describing the period as one of the personal loss for her and her children. Her aide, Ismail Abdul Razak, during an interview with 3FM, noted that they are confident of her winning 70% of the votes, even though she won't be conducting her campaign because the Islamic traditional rights for widows demand that she remains indoors for at least 4 months. Let's listen to what that aide has been telling us on 3FM.
She never wanted to contest. It is not her intention to contest the seat. It is the calling of the people when the husband died. Immediately when the husband died, the people started to come in, trooping in her house, calling for her to come and contest. This is an answer to people who called her to come and contest. So I see it as a calling and answering to a call by people who wanted her to lead. The chances are very, very clear. She's going to win, if not 70% by sure. I'm definitely sure she's going to win by 70%. And that is the target by now because she never wanted to contest. It is the delegates who are calling her to come and contest. And when people are calling you, they mean it. Nothing can influence their mind. They mean what they are calling for. And that is what they want to do on 7th February, come next month. She has indicated it clear in her release that she will be in the house performing and respecting the husband as Islamic demand. She will not come out and campaign. Those who went there to call for a contest will campaign for her, will make sure she wins the primaries and definitely win the main general election, which is 3rd March next 2 months. The fact of the matter is she has been a very good woman in the community, and her willingness or her calling to lead is something that the community thinks they are going to pay her back for. So she will be doing what she deserves or she has to be done by Islam, and definitely she will win the election.
And that is Ismail Abdul Razak, who is the special aide to the widow of late Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso East Constituency. And he tells T3 News and TV3 that it is the call by the constituents and supporters of the NDC in the constituency on Madam Hajia Amina Adam to contest. That's why she has declared her intention to run on behalf of her husband, or at least to fill the gap that her husband has left behind. But certainly there will be some contestation. So she's expected to go against a number of people, at least 2 for now, who have also declared their intention to run as MPs for that constituency. Baba Jamal is one of them. Now, he is currently Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, and he says that his intention to contest the primary, which is on the 7th of February 2026, is expected to show that he, as a member of that particular constituency, has a lot to offer and would be a good replacement for the Member of Parliament who passed away a few weeks ago. But let's take you through the list of widows. So what we're going to be doing now is we are also going to get into that conversation, the widespread conversation that many of you are already talking about on social media, which is that it looks as though any time a member of parliament passes away, a male member of parliament passes away, there has been the tendency for their spouses to want to contest on their behalf or in their stead, more or less just picking up from where their husbands left off. And it has brought different dimensions to the general conversation about how right or wrong this decision is for widows to want to replace their husbands as MPs whenever this unfortunate demise does come up. So we're taking you through that list. First of all, the wife of the NPP MP for Ayawaso West Wogon, Emmanuel Chamantie Jakun, well, when he passed, his wife stood in his stead and actually contested. Now, she won the by-election in 2019 and retained the seat for the New Patriotic Party in the 2020 general elections. But in 2024, she lost the elections in the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency to the current MP, John Dumelo. Now to the Shai Osudoku constituency. You would recall that Desmond William Oklu died in a car crash, and his wife, who is in the person of Linda Akwele Oklu, decided to contest the primary. Now she contested and won the primary, and then eventually also won the Shai Osudoku constituency. Well, she contested in 2016 as well. And then later, we go now to the Asutifi South constituency. Widow of the NPP candidate, Professor Philip Kofi Ejabeng Amwa, also contested, and she won the seat in the 2000 general election. So this gives you a historical angle to the entire conversation, which shows that it is not just a recent development. It's been part of our politics for some time now. And the latest in the list of widows who have decided to contest in the stead of their husbands is Hajia Amina Adam. She is the widow of the late member of parliament for the Ayawaso East Constituency, Nasser Ture Mahama, I should say. She has declared her intention to run on the ticket of the NDC, and you heard a few minutes ago where her aide tells us that she has decided to contest purely because constituents and NDC supporters say that they believe she will do a good job on their behalf. Again, we have the wife of the member of parliament for Mfantiman, that is Eko Kwansa Hayford. She resigned from her position as an officer of the Ghana Police Service and contested the seat on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party and actually won the 2020 general elections for the Mfantiman constituency. So she also, on the demise of her husband, decided to contest and actually did win. So it gives an idea of what has been happening in our political front. When husbands die, their wives decide to contest. Again, we have Lydia Lamisi, who is the wife of, well, was the wife of late David Adakudugu, former NDC MP for Timpani. She also contested in the 2020 parliamentary elections and won, replacing her husband in parliament. So that is for the Timpani constituency. So the list goes on. And so when we come specifically to the Ayawaso East constituency, the 4 individuals who have declared intentions to campaign, we've mentioned Hajia Amina Adam. Also, we have Baba Jamal, who is Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria. And then we have Najib Mohammed Sani, and then also Dr. Yakubu Azindao. Now, these 4 individuals have put out their intentions. So what we do know is that the NDC will be conducting a primary to select one individual, and that individual will now go into the constituency elections with other political interests. So there is going to be the NPP. We don't know if the other political parties would also show interest, but we do know that the NPP, former MCE for the Ayawaso East constituency under the NPP government, is a lady. She has also declared her intention and says that she's going to be contesting. So it's likely that if all things being equal, Hajia Amina Adam does go through, then it tells you that they are likely to have 2 women contesting against each other in the Ayawaso East constituency. But a lot depends on how the NDC primary will play out before we can have that finality of who is likely to replace the late Nasser Ture Mahama, who died earlier this month. So what exactly are the stakes when it comes to the constituency? Well, we also have just gotten information that the New Patriotic Party will not be undertaking any primary specifically because they have just one candidate and they are going to throw their support behind that candidate. And that candidate is likely to now contest against whoever will win the NDC's primary. So let's walk you through, or let's listen now to the NPP's representative who has been speaking on what the party intends to do regarding the constituency, the Ayawaso East constituency. Divine Otu Agohom is the NPP's Greater Accra Regional Chairman, and he has been speaking on the plans the party has for the constituency and are hopeful that their candidate will win. And if the person does win, the NPP as a party has quite a number of things in store for them. Let's listen to him.
Well, over the year, that appears to be the trend. Quite worrying, though, but well, that's what it is. And the NDC, I'm told, would be going through the process of selecting, how do you call it, their candidate through primaries, for which reason we cannot for now say that the lady would automatically emerge the candidate. Once they are opening nomination and there are others who are also interested, chances are that others other than the wife emerge the winner of the primaries, for which reason the lady might not be the candidate. Be it as it may, considering the trend in situations such as this, the wives of the deceased always, emerge winners if they get into the race.
So that is the Greater Accra Regional Chair of the NPP, Divine Otu Agohom. Now let's speak to Rashid Tanko Computer, who is the Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the National Democratic Congress. A very good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Good evening, my dear. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How far are preparations for the primary that the party intends to hold ahead of the by-election? What are the plans so far?
Very well. We are ready for tomorrow. We are opening nomination for would-be candidates to pick their nomination forms tomorrow at the party regional secretariat in Accra here. So the forms goes for 5,000 Ghana cedis tomorrow. And then the filing will be on Tuesday. They'll come and file on 27th. And then on 28th, we will do the vetting and balloting, as well as appeals. That committee has been set by Functional Executive Committee. When you do vetting, at least at the end of the vetting, some people might not be happy with the outcome of the vetting. They will appeal. And when they appeal, the appeal committee will deal with that matter. And so we have set out the process, a very smooth process. And then when that one is done, then we'll go into the printing of the ballot papers. Then on the 7th of February, we will do the primaries. Let me add that the delegates list are ready. We already have the delegates list. The one we use for the 2023-2024 primaries is the same delegates list that we are going to use. We are not changing anything in, and we are not adding anything in the delegates list. So those who contested in the 2023 primaries, if they still want to contest for them, they have no problem. They don't even need to have a fresh delegates list because we already gave them those delegates lists.
Okay. Now, so far, how many people have declared their intentions? Do you know? For what we have been following, we have seen about 4 individuals, but do you know of any other party persons interested?
As a directorate, we deal with those who come and pick our nomination forms.
Okay.
So I can assure you that it's tomorrow that we can get the true reflection of people declarations. Because the fact that somebody declared and with a statement and does not come to, in fact, materialize it through the picking of the nomination forms, then we cannot hold that one.
Right.
So what we'll do is that we rather wait for tomorrow, and then at the close of tomorrow, we would have known those who would pick the nomination forms, and we can talk about it.
Is it safe to say that the Ayawaso East Constituency is still a safe seat for the NDC? We know you have won it since inception. Is it a comfortable seat the NDC will win again?
We are thinking of increasing our margin in the constituency. Not about winning, about increasing the margin. We have done a lot for this country for just 1 year in government. Our performance is far has taken over the reins of governance in this country that we have seen. For 1 year in office, this government has not recorded any scandal whatsoever. It's unprecedented. This government has reduced prices of foodstuffs to the extent that we have food glass in the market. Go to the market and see. We have reduced petroleum prices. We have reduced the the cost of tickets to Hajj. My good people in Nima, in fact, I love them. I like them. They are nice people there. We have reduced the cost of going to Hajj in order to push and further their religious inclinations. And so these are the things the people will look up to and vote for the NDC. Already we are in the comfortable lead in that constituency. And then so if they look back and see what we have done over the year, just 1 year in government, I can assure you, NPP, they better not come and contest this election. Otherwise, the kind of defeat they will get there, only God knows.
Right. We know that they have also been, flexing their muscles about their political capabilities when it comes to the Ayawaso East Constituency. Let's listen to Divine Agohom. I'm sure you know him very well. He's the greater...
it's chairman.
Let's listen to him about the analysis he has done regarding the constituency. Then I'll pick your thoughts on it.
Yes, we had a National Executive Committee meeting yesterday, and a decision was taken that the regional party constitutes a committee to look at the processes of, deciding on who represents us in these elections. Before then, the constituency executives met my good self and then made a proposal as to who they think must represent them. That position was made known to the National Executive Committee yesterday, upon which the directive was given that we constitute a committee made up of the regional leadership, and in addition, Honorable John Widu was assigned to join that committee. So we'll be looking at that on Monday, just to firm up a decision as to who is representing us. Once that is done, we move into the constituency and start engaging, the stakeholders in preparation towards the election. Bear in mind, we are in the process of electing our flag bearer, so the party itself is quite busy with that process. However, this is an election that NEC has taken a decision that we are taking part of. For that reason, we need to also give some attention to that process. So this is the arrangement that we have so far. Yes, that decision has been made. We would not be, running primaries. We would select a candidate that everybody thinks okay, and then that candidate will contest on our ticket. Referencing the 2024 elections, you agree with me that there's no constituency that you can say that this is an NDC, this is an NPP seat. Any party at all that organizes well, with the party at the constituency united, focused, and working hard, can win the election. So we should be open to such surprises that can happen. Yes, I agree with you to some extent, because over the years, the NDC has been winning that election. That is not to say that the NPP cannot win. The NDC succeeded in winning seats that traditionally were won by the NPP. So the same thing can happen. And so I think that we should keep our fingers crossed. Let's get in the process and see the outcome.
Well, so Honorable Rashid, clearly he says that don't be too excited about winning. And you are even saying it's not just winning, but extending the gap. They say that the fact that you were able to annex seats that they were sure they would win in the 2024 elections means that there is a possibility they can also snatch this from the NDC. Your thoughts?
My brother, time and again, I've been telling you, NPP, they have been rigging elections. They have been rigging. The constituencies that we annexed from them in 2024, they were rigging those constituencies. You remember what I told you about Akotia when we were going to the by-election? They told us they were leading us by 2,000 votes. And therefore, there was no way NDC was going to win the constituency. Didn't I tell you they rigged the election by 2,000 votes? Yeah. And that the by-election will expose them. Because they were not going to have that 2,000 votes. And clearly, when we went to the Akotia, didn't you see it? Yeah. It turned out that they didn't even have that 2,000 votes. They were rigging. And we exhibited it. Several constituencies, I can give you copious examples of how they rigged the election. Look at how we are chasing them in Pandai. One polling station, they got 1,400 votes. Well, how come? This is the kind of people we are talking about. So, as for them, we know them. We to go into election with clean hands. We don't have mentality of rigging. We want to have free, fair election and we win. That has been our strength. For them, they don't go with that kind of free, fair mentality. They go with rigging mentality. Are you not surprised that their own party, internal election, the one they are going to do on 31st, one of the candidates set up anti-rigging squad. Because you know them, that their own internal party, they rig internal party election.
Right. Well,
so for that one, I can show you that, look, NDC will beat them in any election we go anytime soon. Because they won't have that luxury of rigging.
I mean, it's obvious we all were witnesses to some of the high-profile constituencies and how your vigilance and the vigilance of the ordinary Ghanaian helped in getting the real results on the ground. So
that is it. That's what we are talking about.
We are looking forward to this one as well. But let's shift to the conversation having to do with widows now contesting constituencies where their husbands were MPs when their husband passed away. It has become a topical conversation, and I just want to pick your thoughts on it. Some people say that it is not a healthy development when it comes to politics in Ghana. What do you make of it, especially on the back of the fact that the honorable member Ahmed Mohamed Toure, who has passed, his wife has clearly declared her intention to contest, and that has stoked the conversation again. But what do you make of it in general, not just because of this, but generally, wives deciding to represent or contest positions of their husbands?
Well, you see, like I indicated to your other colleagues, I'm a deputy director of election for the NDC and going to be the referee for the upcoming primaries. I can assure you I don't have any comments on this matter.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to stay away from it and not complicate issues.
I'm a referee. How can a referee go into discuss the strength of footballers and their coaches?
Okay. Rashid Tanko Computer, thank you so much for speaking to us. And we'll be definitely engaging you more in the coming days.
I'm grateful.
Right. He is the director of IT for the National Democratic Congress, and we just spoke to him briefly on his thoughts of what should be expected ahead of the NPP, I beg your pardon, the NDC's primary in the constituency, where we do know that so far 4 individuals have declared their interest in leading the NDC into that contest. The NPP also says they are going to be contesting. They are going to meet as a party. They wouldn't hold primaries. They will just select one person to represent them on the day of election, which is later in February, to be conducted by the Electoral Commission. So trust your election command center to update you on how all of this plays out. Staying on politics, though, we know that beyond this this by-election, the New Patriotic Party, the biggest opposition in Ghana at the moment, intends to elect a flag bearer ahead of the 2028 elections. And we have less than 8 days to the NPP's presidential primary. And Global Info Analytics released a latest poll, and that poll has placed Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the preferred candidate ahead of the other 4 who are hoping to be elected. The polls put Dr. Bawumia at 48% ahead of the former Ascent Central MP Kenny Japon, who polled 25%. And this followed closely by former Greek Minister Brian Echampong at 6%. 2 other candidates, former Education Minister Dr. Ayawaso East and former General Secretary of the NPP Kwabena Ejapong, polled 1% and 0% respectively. Let's go to the phone lines now and engage Musa Dankwa himself. Mr. Dankwa, good evening. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
I am sure you have been following now the polling that you seem to have grounded yourself in has drawn quite some interest. A number of people are also conducting polls. We recently saw that one poll put Kenny Japon rather in the lead. We'll discuss the generality of polling in Ghana in a bit, but talk to us about what is informing this particular poll. You have been consistent that whoever the NPP brings, Dr. Bawumia is likely to win the primary. How so?
You know, we've been following this for the past 4 months, and nothing has changed in terms of the order of the pecking. Bawumia has been leading in the polls from as high as 52% before, and then dropping to around 43%, and now looking at the data, it's around 48%, with 21% of them saying they will not disclose. So he has always led. But what we've noticed is that in the last few days of the campaign, we've realized that Kennedy numbers has been plummeting quite significantly on a daily basis.
Oh, you mean Kennedy Japan's numbers have been reducing rather?
Yes. You know, from Tuesday when the video of his outburst went viral, I think that video didn't do him any good at all. And from that point, we've seen him drop on a daily basis 1 point. And that drop in the vote doesn't go to Bawumia, but goes to Brian Achampong.
Right. Yeah. So that was what I was going to ask. That. So if it has reduced, where does it go? It doesn't add up to Dr. Bawumia, but Brian Achampong picks the excess.
Brian Achampong is picking the numbers from Kennedy as far as the polling is concerned.
Do we know what is doing the trick for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, or it's by virtue of the fact that he is the most popular candidate of the NPP and was out of the last election, 2024 election, came second?
I mean, 45% of NPP delegates believe that presenting a candidate for the second time will help the party. 45%.
Okay.
And he's on 48%. So that is what is really driving his numbers up. They believe that he's been sold before, he's been marketed before, and that he has the best chance of winning it for them.
Is there a possibility that in the next few days anything could change and reduce his current lead of 48% to for Ken to close the gap, or it will remain and probably even increase?
I mean, he has been consistent with his numbers. He's been between 43 and 52% for the past 5 months. And as we see turbulence in the polling numbers, it appears to be steady, and Brian is the one picking numbers from Kennedy. So I don't see Bawumia losing ground.
Right. And finally, 21% of your respondents said that they were not disclosing who they were going to vote for. That's quite a substantial number. If this 21% or even half of it or 2/3 of it decide to go for Kennedy Japan, it could tilt the scale.
It won't be enough. He will not overtake Bawumia on the surface of the poll. If you look at the report, we've just done some predictions based on what we know, and we are giving Bawumia 57% of the vote.
At the end of the poll on the 31st, you are projecting that Dr. Bawumia will get about 57%.
Correct.
Wow, okay. We would have to leave it here for now. Thank you so much, and certainly you're one of our key voices, so as we cover the primary, we'll be engaging you some more.
Thank you
for your time. And Musa Dankwa is a pollster and is currently the executive director of the Global Info Analytics, helping us understand what went into the polling, and is helping us understand also the fact that NPP delegates have just decided or made up their minds. Those who were polled, majority of them, a sizable majority, said that they were going to be in the camp of Dr. Bawumia. So we'll see how all of this plays out. And he is projecting that when the final vote is cast, counted, and declared, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is likely to be hovering around 57%. That's a very substantial size in terms of number of votes that Dr. Bawumia will be getting. So your election command center would update you in subsequent bulletins on how the campaign is heating up. We have 8 days to go, so you would want to be with us, especially on our social media platforms, as we navigate all of this to ensure that you are also in the know of what's happening. This is 3FM 92.7. We're going to some other stories. Like I indicated, this bulletin is live around the world on our website, 3news.com. We're also streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so your comments are very welcome. Do keep sending them to us, and we are happy that you are part of the show. We'll definitely reshare and tell the world what you're thinking about the many stories we have for you this evening. Let's turn our attention to global development and health. The United States has officially withdrawn from the World Health Organization leaving the UN agency without one of its biggest donors. Washington has traditionally been one of the biggest donors to the World Health Organization, but has not paid its fees for 2024 and 2025, which has already caused huge job losses at the organization. Although the World Health Organization lawyers suggest the U.S. is obliged to pay the arrears, which is estimated at about $260 million, Washington said that there was no reason to do so. U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order signaling the withdrawal a year ago, having criticized the organization for being too China-centric during the COVID pandemic. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services said that it took the decision due to the World Health Organization's alleged mishandling of the pandemic and inability to reform the political influence from member states. The World Health Organization has rejected these claims, and its Director General, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, said that the withdrawal was a loss for the U.S. and the world. In a moment, we'll get some clinical perspective or some health perspective to this conversation, but we'll see if this would be having an impact on Ghana. Let's find out what exactly this could mean for Ghana, because we are part of the global community, and issues of health do concern us as well, because it could go either way. We could be the people who are benefiting from the donations that are made to the World Health Organization, and as it stands, the biggest donor, the United States, says that they are not going to be a part of it anymore. But what kind of global impact does this have? Let's go to the phone lines now and speak to Professor Fred Benka, whom we have spoken to earlier and has been giving us his thoughts on this.
These global pacts that we have been signing, that the WHO allows the world to work as one body. Today, the world is a very small place, and what happens in one part of the world will spread to the other part of the world in less than half a day. The flights are going, people are moving, and so the WHO was a good point that had been established under the UN to bring all countries together. 195 countries have always come together to look at the health challenges and to sign a pact to share pathogens and to detect new pathogens that are showing up in every part of the world. So the American government was part of this process until January last year, that they served the final notice that they were going to leave, and that has matured now, and they will be considered as no longer members. So what it does is that we now do not share information directly with them. In Ghana, the US government has tried to sign a separate agreement with us. So it's gone from multilateral agreements to bilateral agreements. Early last year, the team from the US came and provided a template for us to sign and share pathogens under a bilateral agreement with Ghana. I'm not sure whether that has been signed, but for us directly, we are still under the WHO partnership,
right,
where we've signed the partnership agreement, and we'll be sharing information with all other countries except the United States.
I see. So if we're looking in terms of impact, what will there be, if any?
Yeah, so the major impact has been that having made this decision, the United States has withdrawn its funds, its resources that they have been putting into all this. They have been very, very serious supporting countries like Ghana to make sure they can look at the issues of pathogens, new pathogens. You know, pathogens can create a problem. We've had the recent COVID, and everybody, it brought almost the world to a standstill. The only way that is we are able to control that or have an early peek into what is going to happen is if we share these pathogens that we conduct surveillance in our own countries, and we have a pool where people put these things together, and we could see how this is spread across the world. So the major impact is that it's taking away its money, and so some countries will not be able to do some of the work that they do. But Ghana has a system that is championed by the Ghana Service and the Ministry of Health, including the universities like Noguchi, KNUST, that have already been set up to try and continue to collect the pathogens across our country. The level of funding, I don't think is going to reduce, but we may need some equipment and some reagents, and that's where some of this will affect our country. So the government has to step up and fill in the gaps to get the right reagents and some of the equipment that will allow us to achieve our goal.
And I heard Professor Fred Binka sharing his thoughts on what exactly this could mean for Ghana. But let's speak to people who are directly involved in helping, the entire country when it comes to issues of health. Let's engage the Ghana Coalition of NGOs in Health and Development. Ninsao Darko Alaza has joined us. Very good evening and thank you for your time.
And good evening and thank you to our listeners.
When you heard this story about the United States deciding to pull out from the World Health Organization, what were your initial thoughts, and are there any implications for Ghana, you think?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we, as Ghana Coalition NGOs in Health, have been embracing ourselves towards this. Because the U.S. government indicated in 2025 that their intention to withdraw from WHO. So we expected all countries should be prepared to see how to fill the void that might be created by this threat. And the effect on Ghana cannot be emphasized because it's very significant. And WHO have been supporting Ghana in terms of eradication and control of some diseases in Ghana, including polio, HIV/AIDS, malaria, and TB. And the U.S. is the largest or the biggest funder for WHO. About almost 20%, the funding comes from them. And then the rest are all coming from the other partners. So significantly, it will affect us in terms of programs. But I don't think that there's any option. But rather, we in the developed country and Ghana in particular should take our health into our own destiny and prepare towards it.
Right. And talking about impact, how much of an assistance were we getting from the World Health Organization? And is it that that partnership we are getting or the assistance we are getting is going to be completely cut or is going to reduce, and by what percentage? Have we been able to do those calculations?
Yes, after the statement you just released yesterday, so we are yet to do the actual quantification. But whatever be the case, there is a significant effect. Like as I said, in 2022, U.S. alone contributed about 20% to the entire budget of WHO. And then 2023, almost 14% of the entire budget. So what we are seeing now is, one, it can either motivate some countries to step in the place of U.S. or Ghana government, based on the rhetoric we are hearing of late, may have to look at other sources of funding internally, both for the private sector and philanthropy, to augment the distance. But quantum after now, we've not yet actually sat down to compete what the quantum of funding now will be short. But definitely there will be shortfall for funding of the WHO activities in Ghana.
Okay, and so what are the immediate plans? How do you intend to fund your activities and your operations? Where are we looking at sourcing these funds from? Now that you are more or less conjecturing that maybe you are hopeful that some private individuals or private entities would step in. How are you holding the fort in the meantime?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the way forward is, first of all, to start talking more on multi-sectorial cohesion among the stakeholders in Ghana, both governmental and private. We are talking about health outcomes. And the health outcomes go beyond the Ghana Health Service and Ministry of Health. Because if the carnage on the road, if it's the road and Federal Road or Ghana Road and Transport, on the current name of it, are able to reduce road accidents on the way, it impacts directly on Ghana Health Service. Likewise, MOFA. Likewise, other multi-sectoral areas. So what we are going to do, the way forward now for us to do is to have more multi-sectoral collaboration to make judicious use of the little funding we have based on needs assessment, prudent use of the funding, the little we have, and three, to see how we can actually look through our tax system to see where we can take some funding to support health outcomes. Then, apart from that, I think all over the world, or the government will also looking at the sub-regional cooperation to see how we can share our health research indicators, work with the local and traditional association in to see which of them potent herbal drugs we can promote to ease the cost of importation and the cost of health delivery. In fact, there are so many ways, but we need to have a sober reflection over all what is happening right now, and take a bold step and take our health into our own destiny.
Right. Okay. It looks like at least there is a strategy of how to manage the situation whilst we await how the global outcome would look like. Thank you. We'll leave it here for now. Thank you for speaking to us this evening.
You are most welcome.
And you heard the voice of the of Ninsao Darko Alaza, who is the National Vice Chairman of the Ghana Coalition of NGOs in Health, and expressing their thoughts on what impact the U.S. withdrawal from the World Health Organization could have on Ghana specifically, and then also on their activities as a medical group of individuals. Stay with 3FM 92.7. We'll update you on what else is likely to play out now that this decision has become a reality from the side of the United States of America and its global impact on healthcare delivery. Staying on issues of health, though, medical law expert Christian Mamhesi is pushing for stiffer regulation and roadmap for the implementation of national safeguarding humanitarian law in surrogacy transactions. According to him, too many young innocent girls are falling victim due to their inability to enter into proper contracts with the would-be couples. Let's listen to him.
Surrogacy is an arrangement where a woman carries and gives birth to a baby. Surrogacy is an arrangement where a woman carries and gives birth to a baby for another couple who cannot have children themselves. At a program dubbed Medical Legal Resolutions of the Mamhesi National Medical Negligence Conference, medical law expert Mamhesi said the contract, irrespective of its terms, conform to the basic requirements of state law, so that the right protection of the main actors in the surrogacy contact are upheld, being the intended parent, the surrogate and the baby. The conference was to enable Ghanaians to appreciate the impact of entering into third-party arrangements. He said of a woman will enter into a surrogacy agreement because there is a large amount of money advertised without knowing the full extent of the physical and psychological effect it will have on her.
there should be informed consent. And informed consent should always be regulated. I've been in medical evidence cases in the hospital where they indicate how they managed to sleep, or whether it was inadvertent or not, they do not get signatures of consent form. They need to go through counseling, the quarantine of the government and environment, providing legal information, including information about parents, obtaining consent.
He therefore called for a closer collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Parliament of Ghana to pass the bill of safeguarding regulation in third-party reproduction in Ghana.
You have persons who really come in as international surrogates in order to exploit the country because surrogacy services in Ghana might be cheaper as compared to that in the advanced world, and that's also because there's no legal review in the rules of that particular health facility to espouse effective legal right to cover those services. Ghana needs to be strong. Ghana needs to come out clear.
And you heard that report on issues of surrogacy and the fact that we need legal backing for any contracts that will be signed, especially for the would-be couples and the surrogate mothers. Well, details of all of these stories and more on our website, 3news.com. It's now about time for the latest in the world of business.
Segment on Hot Edition tonight. Coming up, mandatory local cargo insurance takes effect February 1. We'll bring you details of this and more. My name is Menu Afo. Now the details. The Ministry of Finance has issued a directive requiring all cargo imports into Ghana to be insured by local insurance companies starting February 1, 2026. The policy, announced under Section 222 of the Insurance Act 2021, Act 1061, is a strategic move to curb capital flight by retaining insurance premiums within the domestic economy. The directive will be strictly enforced by the Ghana Revenue Authority and the National Insurance Commission, NIC. The policy arrives amidst a stabilizing macroeconomic environment. Beyond the immediate cargo mandate, the government has launched a 10-year insurance master plan from 2026 to 2036. Away from that, in a bid to create an enabling environment for sustainable business development with a focus on green, digital, and inclusive growth, some 900 entrepreneurs are set to benefit from the 17.3 million euros on green, digital, and inclusive private sector development project.
The initiative is a collaboration between the European Union and Ghana, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, France, and the UN Capital Development Fund. Over the next 4 years, more than 200 businesses will receive financial support to adopt green and digital measures. The project will also provide targeted assistance to the creative and heritage industries, as well as the healthcare and pharmaceutical sectors.
This program addresses some of the main obstacles for young entrepreneurs. It addresses the issue of access to finance. You know, if you have a great idea, it doesn't suffice if you don't have the money to implement it. It also addresses the regulatory environment, because it's not enough to have ideas and finance if you have a regulatory environment that makes it extremely difficult to set up your business.
The program aims to create more jobs and help address unemployment in the country.
The ultimate goal, of course, is to reduce unemployment in Ghana, and especially youth unemployment. I think that Apiako, the poet, was very forcefully explaining what the problems of the youth in Ghana are. And I think that this program is a very useful contribution to reducing those problems.
The government of Ghana says it remains committed to ensuring the project makes significant progress.
We are expectant that the outcome of this initiative will definitely position Ghana into the regional ladder and drive job creation for the youth of this country.
That was a report on European Union and partners launching 17.3 million euros projects to boost 900 Ghanaian entrepreneurs. And that will be all for Business News on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's www.3news.com. My name is Minu Afo. We have more updates for you. Please stay with us. Stay tuned.
You've been listening to Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, and thank you for your messages as well. We appreciate your time as always. We're resuming regular programming. Stay with us. This is 3FM 92.7. My name is Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Bye for now.